AV in your ears, that's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know, let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
This is Keith Coogan, and you are listening to Fascination Street Podcast.
Yeah, AV in your ears, that's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know, let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Keith Coogan. You know Keith Coogan from all the movies. He was in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and he was also in the Babysitters Club. He was in a bunch of other stuff. He was also in Toy Soldiers. We do talk about those three projects a little bit more in depth, but we talk everything. We talk about some of the projects that he has done. We talk about some of the commercial work that he did and what an experience is working on commercials, big and small. We also talk about his experience making the movie The Fox and the Hound for Disney. That took several years, and so we talk about why and basically what his experience was on that. We do bring up a few previous guests, which happen to be friends of his. Of course, we talk a little bit about his grandfather and the law that was enacted in his name. His grandfather was Jack, or Jackie Coogan, arguably the first child star. And then we touch on some random stuff. How he helped Barack Obama become president. Why he wrote a show for John Wayne Bobbitt. And, of course, we touch on the dwindling attention span of moviegoers and TV show watchers. Keith Coogan was awesome to talk to, fun to hang out with. Go check out his website where he sells all kinds of crazy merch. You can even get dishes printed with the phrase, "The dishes are done, man." Like, you can get all kinds of crazy stuff. He also does cons and meet and greets and all that other stuff too. So check out his website. He gives it toward the end of the episode, and follow him on all the socials. He's a good follow. He posts some really cool stuff. He's got pictures and stories and all kinds of great shit. And this is my conversation with actor Keith Coogan.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast. Keith Coogan, what's up, dude?
What's up? What's happening?
What is happening?
And I'm honored to be a guest. You have, great show and a great amount of work and interviews you put in there. A lot of people I'm familiar with, I know I worked with, or am just appreciative that you've interviewed them. I get to dig in and listen to those interviews too.
Well, thank you very much. That is very kind of you to say. And one of those people that you're going to get to dig into, I don't know if he's still your best friend, but at one time he was your roommate, Gabe Jarrett.
Yeah, good old Gabe.
Yeah, I had that dude on here. Okay, we're going to talk about a bunch of things, but that's right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me. This is Keith Coogan. You know him from your childhood. I want to talk about a bunch of wild and crazy shit, so we're going to go all over the place. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's my life. All over the place.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did say he is from your whole childhood, but you may recognize him as the left shoulder in the Coast soap commercial from a long, long time ago. Do you recognize, everybody recognize that shoulder? How you... Hey, I have a question about when you do the Coast soap commercial.
Sure.
How does the pay on that run? I don't mean what did you get paid, because I don't care about that. What I mean is, do you get paid the one time, or do you get paid every time it comes on? Do you get paid for a block of times it comes on? Like, how do commercials work? I know you've done a lot of commercials, like 100 plus.
No, commercials work and you get your day rate or a session fee, like working for the day. Usually like an 8-hour day or more. They buy cycles, and they're usually 13 weeks, like a quarter. So they'll buy Pacific Southwest for, January, February, March, and then they can play that commercial basically as much as they want in that quarter, in that period. They pay more if it's prime time or it's with a hot show or something like that. And then if it runs that 14th week, they got to pay all over again. And some commercials can be run for a while. Some commercials can be run annually, like a holiday spot or something like that. And then, of course, you have the Super Bowl commercials. Commercials are the bread and butter. If an actor comes to me and goes, "Hey, I want to make money," I go, "Great, you should be a commercial actor." Because really, really, really solid money. And even crazier than when I did a bunch of the commercials I did. The pay is outrageous.
Even now?
Oh, even now, but you're trading for you're the AT&T girl, or oh, you're the Taco Bell guy, or oh, you're the Prudential guy, or Mr. Mayhem, or you know what I mean? Like that could work for some people. It could also kind of hamstring you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like the Liberty Bibberty guy, that's all he's ever going to be to me.
Wasn't Joey like the herpes guy? Like, oh, you're the Valtrex guy
Who's Joey?
from Friends.
Okay, I will only ever remember him besides Friends as he did a Heinz ketchup commercial, and it was the weirdest commercial. And it was before he did the show, so he did this commercial, and I remember the commercial because it was so cool. He was in New York and he wanted a hot dog, but he wanted Heinz, and so I guess because it's so thick, that was the point of the commercial, was that ours is thicker than theirs, and so he put a ketchup bottle on the top of a building, and then he ran downstairs to the street.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
And behind his back, he was able to catch that ketchup because that's how slow it was pouring out, which is cool and all, unless you don't have that kind of time and you just want some gosh darn ketchup. But that's what I remember him from. Oh, and I also interviewed his previous best friend too. And hopefully you and Gabe get along better than Joey and his previous best friend.
Oh, no.
So what was your favorite commercial that you worked on?
Oh, God. Favorite, tough to pick. McDonald's was very good to me. My first and my last commercials were McDonald's. Although my mom said that my last commercial was something else.
Why do you say last? So you don't do them anymore? Like if somebody came to you, you'd be like, no, I'm done.
No, just the last commercial I did. Although auditioning for, God, hundreds since then, never have booked another spot like that. These are, great products from Charmin to Cool Whip to the aforementioned McDonald's.
You get to meet all the people, right?
Yeah, and you learn a lot about the lighting and the marks and holding the product and the working rhythm of a set. And you learn, the energies required of a commercial. And then you might bring that back down a little bit for a TV guest spot and bring that down a little bit for, drama where you're more natural, I guess. I don't know. Everyone's familiar with them. Everyone sees them. It's really hard to do them. Like I was guest teaching an acting class, and one of the nights the assignment was commercials. And it was, little 30-second of copy. And I just realized how hard it is to be, an MTV host or sell this product. And so to be a spokesman for someone, that I think the trade-off, you get paid a lot at that point. If you're like recognizable with something and identifiable with something. Don't get it twisted and think that you have any clout or say so. You are a walking, talking meat puppet. And remember, this whole shenanigans is subsidized by either the audience or we get a sponsor. So the Texaco Radio Hour, the Colgate Showcase. It used to be more direct. You knew that Chesterfield was producing I Love Lucy or whatever. Now it's hidden within sponsors. You just have to spot their shoes or what cars they're driving, and you understand, oh, that's a GMC show. Oh, that's a Nike show. I like to say show business and entertainment industry. And we don't get the show or the entertainment without the business or the industry. And that is marketing and it is advertising. Somebody invented this amazing, see anything in the world at any time, color and sound. And someone said, hey, let's sell something with it. The commercialism of television has always been, I think, the case. But an actor has to learn their part within that. Are you hawking this stuff? Do you become famous and then later when your career falls, then you become the spokesman for the very thing that you were too proud to do a commercial for at the beginning of your career? You're going to do it at the end of your career, trust me. Didn't Orson Welles do like pea commercials, frozen peas? I don't know.
He might have, like for Bird's Eye or something. The last thing that I know of that he did the introduction story, like the narration of a heavy metal record.
Huh?
Like an album. As far as I know, that was the last thing that he did was the narration for this record.
Weird.
This is why I want to say it was like Man O' War or something like that.
I know. Wild.
It is wild. Again, we're going to go all over the place. So I'm going to have questions from when you were a kid. I'm going to have questions from before you were born. But first, so you have a little brother, and was he going to get into acting, but then did he hit a casting director over the head with something, with a clipboard? Like what?
With a toy shark, like a little Jaws, sharks, like 6-8 inch shark or something like that. He just was not very... you got to try. You got to throw the kid in the pool and see if they can swim. So my mom took him to call. casting director came over and she's holding him in her arms, and he's got his little toy shark, and she came over to talk and he bopped her right in the head. It just wasn't he doesn't take direction in that kind of a way. Give him a problem, he'll figure it out. But I think Gen X are really good at acting, the abuse, the neglect, the ability to read a room the moment you step into it, because you have to, or you get your ass beat. Don't cry about it. I'll give you something to cry about. You want to hear actors complain? Give them work. And so it was weird. It was this thing that any other family would have, I don't know, and maybe not, maybe healthy families, they wouldn't give much weight to the acting thing. I mean, it's great if it's working out. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be focused on the social aspect, schooling. Basically, the upbringing of a child is more important than the acting thing to most families. And same with mine. It was not a big deal that I was in the business. It wasn't even a big deal that my grandfather was in the business because it didn't pay a bill. As you know, our family was famous for not getting their money. And so Grandpa was someone who had a big mouth and talk, I did this. And I go, really, Grandpa, well, where is it? What do you have to show for that? And I'm sure that hurt. I think the biggest thing for him was the money. So for me, it's fun. It's something fun to do. And then within that, my family said you can make a career out of it. You start small and you do bit parts and you keep growing and don't piss anybody off. And you might keep working and you have an opportunity to grow a career. And so I kind of just listen to them and follow that. And Hollywood used to be pretty set in that it was the people. It was the same people that were at the end of the 70s, same people that are still casting my grandfather in guest appearances. They're producing other shows. And so, although I didn't act under Coogan at first, my mom said there's people that knew damn well who you were. And half of them was, oh, Jack. The other half, it was, oh, Jack. So it helped as much as it hurt.
Sure. That's bringing to mind, not exactly apples to apples, but kind of the Sheen Estevez dynamic.
Well, it's think firefighting family. And the son comes home and he goes, oh my God, I just felt this fire and I caught the cat. And then there was a baby. And then dad goes, oh yeah, well, I had a fire once and they had a pet tiger. And oh my God, it was 2 fires. And so there's never accolades. You're just going to walk home and get competition from your own family. Oh, that was okay. You did okay in that movie. I would have said it this way. This would have been funnier. And you're like, wow, everyone's a critic.
Why is everybody trying to one-up me all the time?
That's funny.
Okay, you mentioned him, ladies and gentlemen. Keith's grandfather was Jackie Coogan, arguably the first child star. There's laws named after him. It's a whole thing. Everybody go look it up if you don't already know. But I do have a question. I think I heard you say fairly recently that there's only 6 or 8 states that have any version of the Coogan law. Why?
It's up to the attorneys general of each state. In practice, if it's a union shoot and it's under Screen Actors Guild, then they're going to have the set teacher, which is also the social worker. The producer is going to be cutting a check to a Coogan account. And they're like, hey, set it up. You got to set it up within so many days of working or they'll just keep the money. And so if it's anything significant, the parent is going to go ahead and set up the Coogan account. Once you got the money, then you control the parent. Do this, do they can't do that. I hope their grades can't fall. We're going to check in with the kid every once in a while. What? You're going to do what now? Yeah, we're going to ask the child, do they feel overworked? Do they feel stressed? Is this something they want to do? What do you mean you can ask them that? Yeah, outside of your presence, we're going to ask the child if they're happy doing this. And parents are freaking out because there's got to be an advocate for the child on the set. I mean, there's laws that protect adult actors, but those are blatantly not followed all the time. Imagine if we didn't have these extra protections for children. Any state that you work anywhere globally, you're going to have to open a Coogan account or you're just not going to see 15% of that check. The hour restrictions are important. There's been deaths because people have worked kids past midnight, safety issues. It's always nice to have a hotline to call. Just remember, it's an industry where children are going to work side by side with adults. And so everyone acts accordingly. Watch your P's and Q's on set, which isn't always easy to do. And be with your kid. If you're going to have a kid in the business, be there and keep an eye on them all the time. And it should be fine. It's something they like to do. I think it's rare that kids like to do it. There's kids that are successful at it, but they didn't like to do it, like Will Wheaton.
Also your friend, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, Streetwalkers. Here's a word from our sponsors.
Beneath a dead world, humanity's last survivors live in Subterra.
I care about one thing, keeping Subterra's power uninterrupted. If Subterra goes dark, we are doomed.
A buried city of chipped citizens, forgotten miners, and those who have never seen the sun.
You took a big risk coming here.
I didn't have a choice.
Go back home, girl. You'll get killed down here. Or worse.
But in the lower levels, the unchipped have become invisible, and invisibility breeds rebellion.
We want justice for our dead!
You will learn to obey.
When a rigged trial ignites the darkness, a blind orphan, a bunker princess, and a rebuilt combat robot are thrown into a fight that could change everything.
Fellow citizens of Subterra, you are here to witness the adjudication of an unchipped bunker orphan known as Ace.
You want me to lie?
I want you to help me clear your name.
By blaming Ace for something he didn't do? He's innocent. And you're gonna kill him.
What I have set in motion will change this place forever. There will be a new order in Subterra, and it will not be kind to people like you.
No. I'm staying here.
Stay here, then. Stay and die.
Because underground, hope doesn't disappear, it survives.
Let the battle begin!
Advance!
Defend your home! Defend your brothers and sisters!
Subterra.
Available now. Download wherever you find podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
Now, I know you mentioned something about like a 15% or something goes into that account, but your mom did something a little different. She did not put 15% in there.
Yeah, no, she'd do 30, she'd do 50. The judge would try to fight with her, and she goes, my name's on the damn law. So, a minimum has to go into the Coogan account. Nowadays, with the way that it's kind of a block trust, that could mess you up. I had a friend who had a kid, and they did a couple of jobs, and they were being aggressive with, they're like, yeah, we'll put some extra, but it's, we don't need it. So they put more than they were supposed to, and then they got into trouble. They're like, we kind of need it. And they said it was very hard to get that out again, the extra that they put in there. So my mother was pretty confident that we could go ahead and put extra. And also that was a time where the Coogan law only covers contracted work. So they said it didn't cover commercials. It didn't cover TV guest appearances. It didn't cover a lot of things because you're not under contract. That's just a day player, day job, kind of, that's a work for hire situation. You're not under contract. And they're like, no, actually everything's under contract, morals clause, etc., residual payments. There's still a relationship between the artist and the production company long after you do the project.
Gotcha. Given what your grandfather went through and the troubles that he had as a youngster in the business and, even as an adult in the business, why did you get into it? Why didn't you just be like, nah, that sounds crazy? What made you get in after seeing or hearing what your grandfather went through?
Well, there was no trouble for him as a kid in the business. He wasn't hurt in any, he didn't suffer any trauma from being in the business. I think he went missing once on a set to see what happened because he realized everyone was there because of him. He was producing the movie, he's starring in the movie. And he goes, what if I go missing for a while? He got soundly beat that night by my great-grandfather. I don't know, really, what's the question here?
Well, I guess my question is, why did you decide to get into the business?
Oh, yeah, like I said, he didn't suffer as a child. He suffered as an adult. He was well over 21 when he went for his money to learn that it was all gone. So, he didn't have any trauma associated with, he had a great time as a kid, travel the world, meet all these people. So as long as I enjoyed it, I think it was a green light. It certainly became, it took over the household because you got to drive me to my auditions and then, parents got to be with me on set. So yeah, I took care of all the bills. No one talks about the other 85%. Certainly a bit goes to taxes and you get the agent and you get the manager, but there's, enough left over. Technically, according to the California law, the parents have to live in accordance with their lifestyle and their income level. So if their income level is a one-bedroom apartment, then that's how you should be living, even if the child has a lot of success. That's kind of not really looked at, I think, in the industry either. It's rare, though. There are much less child actors. They also age out quick. They age out quick from the cute, 5 to 7 phase. And then there's the cute, 10-year-old phase. Then there's adolescent phase, which you could count in weeks. They could look older by the end of shooting a movie. They look older than they did at the footage at the beginning because they're shooting through puberty. And then what a whacked out time to be on movies and TV at 14, 15, 16, right when all your insecurities are going. You're like, they're looking at me, they're laughing at me. They better be. It was a comedy and you starred in it. Oh, good, they're laughing at me. It's not normal. My mom just impressed you have to have all the normal, do public school and have the friends and go play, but then also do all the work. Have no free time, like outside of like school and some proscribed areas, times when it was like, all right, you don't have an audition and you've done your homework and you've done your chores, then you could go play until, the sun goes down. But it was normal in the way that I was at least occupied, very busy. And if I was bored in school, then I'd wind up on a set. Or if I got bored on a set, I'd wind up back at school. And anyway, it was always interesting. There was always something fascinating, social thing to figure out. Or just watching these big crews. I was fascinated by the whole like mechanics of making movies and TV. So I love it. Always loved it. You paid me or not. I just love being on set.
Did you feel like you always had the option to not do it? Like, did you feel like you could quit at any time, or was there pressure from, I don't know, supporting your whole family?
I don't know. After a certain thing, I mean, my God, I was looking at my pension earnings income statement. I was making some serious money by 7 years old. And there's no way at that time that my parents had the opportunities to make that kind of money. So we would have lived a lot broker if I hadn't have worked and kept working. And I think some people want to act for fame or whatever. And I'm like, if this is a way that you could make a living, I'd rather do this than other jobs. And I know acting comes with its own trauma. But like I used to say, it's better to fail in show business than it is to succeed in any other.
I like that. The guest that's out right now, the episode that's out right now, he said, look, don't get it twisted. We as actors, we don't work as much as, like, just say, I don't know, let's say a cop. A cop works every day for the whole year. We as actors, we're lucky if we work 3-4 weeks of the year. But those days that we're working is a serious paycheck as compared to, I mean, like, it's real money.
It used to be. There's some great podcasts going around how they no longer respect precedent or quote. They just go, here's what it is. The lead of a show would make so much an episode, but then, by the third lead, they're making a tenth of that. They do less episodes a year. They don't produce the series every year now. It's like every 2 years.
Yeah, like the morning show.
Yeah.
The morning show is every 2 years and it's 10 episodes. What?
Yeah.
Ed Asner, when he was doing Mary Tyler Moore and Lou Grant, that was 24 episodes a year. And now the morning show is doing 10 every other year. I'm like, what is happening? What's going on?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it used to be routine to do 26 episodes a year in television. And then I saw it cut back a bit. You had networks licensing stuff like NFL and Olympics and, like event television. But, Olympics, a lot of that's during the summer. So it doesn't really affect regular programming. But there used to be a thing called pilot season. There used to be like an annual rhythm of television production. Everybody shot these months to these months. Everybody takes a break, holiday break. Everybody takes a big summer break. And that's totally changed with Netflix first started producing their own content. And then the others kind of quickly followed. They could be shooting any time of year. They could be airing them any time of year. A lot of them, like Netflix, do the dump. They just dump them all. Here you go. Here's every episode of the show. Others still do the weekly, which they did a little study and they found that shows that do weekly, like the morning show, typically have higher viewership and retention of viewers than the big dump. So the industry's changed a lot over the years, from silent to talkie to color to TV to digital. Digital capture and distribution has changed the industry more than any of those other technologies.
How so?
Let's say that you were making a widget in a factory and you had some talented crew to make the widget. And you spent a lot of money on this main part, machine part, that kind of cut the tool and die thingy. And it works every time, and it makes a beautiful piece. And it takes some time, some respect, it takes some knowledge to be able to use this piece of equipment. But then the factory goes, that's a really expensive piece of equipment. And so to disrespect the crew, we're just going to get a cheap piece, and they're going to have to replace it all the time. It'll disrupt their workflow, but it's just cheaper. It's easier for us, as producers, as the factory owner, it's easier. And so that's when they took a film camera, they replaced it with these digital cameras. And yeah, they're cheap, they're easy, they're quick. It's like McDonald's. And because of that, they are rolling all the time. You're always on camera. You don't know what's going to be used. There's multiple cameras. You get a lack of focus. Everybody going, all right, what is the audience looking at right now? They're like, we don't know. There's 4 cameras. They could be looking at anything. Probably they're looking at their phone. The industry's changed a lot. Filmmakers can grab people's attention like Obsession. Horror always seems to be loyal to its audiences. You saw the romantic comedy get ousted from theaters and relegated to streamers. And then it's trying to have a little bit of a comeback. Linda Oak said there's no normal in Hollywood. There was never a normal. Every film is a fluke. It's not a factory, except for Touchstone. You can't just, whip up 8 films a year and have them all kind of work and make money. There's too many studios, too many product. Audiences only have so much money. The theater-going experience is degraded. TVs are home. All of these things are kind of attacking the experience, and it's fine because we need new stars. So we'll get rid of the people that are used to having respect for the role, respect for hair, makeup, and wardrobe, and props and effects to go ahead and set the scene, respect for the writers to learn the lines and actually rehearse them, respect for the financiers that you actually make the movie that was in the script instead of improvising your way through it, safety issues. You're doing stunts. Nowadays, they're like, well, we'll just do it for the last day of shoot. And yeah, we'll stick a bunch of GoPros and we'll put the actors in the thing. Yeah. Well, if they get hurt, it's the last day of shooting. We already shot everything else. That used to be the joke in the past, but now it's kind of not that funny anymore. And then you've got this encroachment of digital and AI and CGI. We'll see. We'll see. There might be a little fight against man versus machine there for a minute. I think audiences have rejected AI like a dead carcass in row 3 on a plane. They're like, that is a dead body sitting in a seat on the plane. The audiences are rejecting AI wholeheartedly, and they're going to have to sneak a little on us like Forrest Gump. They're like, see, Forrest Gump had a bunch of CGI. You just weren't looking for it because it was things like crowds and feathers and birds. That's what they'll do with AI. They'll sneak in. They go, no, there's some backgrounds. That other actor, that was totally fake. You didn't even spot it. Oh, you're tricking us now. Great. So, the industry is changing rapidly. It always has been under kind of a lot of pressures just because it's a very powerful medium. The people that want to get it to eyeballs. And now, it's also not as important because the kids have run off and they're, have their eyeballs on TikTok and Instagram. And that's not TV. That's not the movie theater. So it's just advertisers. And it's just people that do like to make movies, but they also like to make their money back.
Sure.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
More than 15 years ago, I heard you say, and I quote, kids today are getting wired with faster cuts in movies and TV. And then you had a whole conversation about the shortening attention span of both kids and adults, but mostly kids. Again, this was more than 15 years ago. So where did you get this super forward-thinking idea from, and are you surprised that it hasn't stopped with that trajectory? I mean, now they're making vertical short storytelling content meant for TikTok and shit like that. 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago, you said that. Where were you seeing that? Where did you get this knowledge from that our attention spans were fucking gone?
I extrapolated it from, I think the beginning of the plot would be plot a graph, and it goes from the average shot length in 1977 when Star Wars was released was 6 seconds. And then by the time Endgame came out, the average shot length was 0.6 seconds. So from there I went, well, the attention span is good. And then you had MTV, Oliver Stone, Natural Born Killers. Perfect. Oliver Stone said Natural Born Killers is a result of MTV. He goes, I saw the quick cutting, and I go, well, these kids, their brains are used to it. You can cut quick. Their brain understands all this stuff, even if it flashes by really fast. It allowed them to get cheap with fight sequences. Just go handheld really close. There's really no geography. We'll just see like elbows and things and a flash of a face, and we'll do a lot of sound effects, and that's the fight. And it's not really specific. A lot of sound and fury and in the old days they used to hold a big wide shot and have Chuck Norris and and Bruce Lee go at each other in one shot. Now it's there's a lot of cutting. So I just extrapolated that. And then I think after that interview was Vine had come out where the maximum length was 6 seconds. And now that's too long because if you look at your Facebook and your Instagram and your analytics, how many percentage of people keep watching after 5 seconds?
Yeah, the percentage goes down drastically after 5
Yeah,
seconds. It's insane.
at least 60% have tuned out by then.
Yeah, it's like off a cliff.
No, it does. It bottoms out, and then you see your core. It should match closely with the ratio of people that are already following or friends versus not, non-followers versus followers. But it's a tenth. It's different for everybody because everybody's a slightly different thing or different product to each person.
Sure.
Some people make content that is comforting. Some people make content that is routine. Oh, I got to tune into this person's video of the day. Some of them take a long time. They'll do really in-depth. They'll do hour-long videos. There's one video game guy that does hours long. Hours. I think his Cyberpunk one was 8 hours long. I'm not sure.
Oh, my God.
But to be consumed in a different way than you've ever consumed something. You might listen for an hour or two while you're playing the very game that they're doing. You might then listen to another hour or two in the car. You know what I mean? It's very personal to everybody how they consume their media.
Sure.
Fuck off. It's my media, man.
I want to talk about a couple of the projects that you are most known for. I want to hear about your time making The Fox and the Hound with Corey Feldman. He wasn't exactly a previous guest, but he did pop on when I was talking to his at the time girlfriend. So he's been on the show, but not as a guest. And you've worked with him a ton, which is crazy. So tell me about your time on Fox and the Hound. And did it take them 3 years to make that movie?
At least they said they started doing pre-production in 77. We came on in 78 and started doing voices. We would do a scene or two and then go home. And 6 months later, we'd come back in, do another couple scenes. They'd animate. We'd go home. We'd come back. And then we were released in 81. Supposed to be released in 80, but Don Bluth had left production and it's kind of stalled the finishing of the film. And so, yeah, it took 4 years to do it.
I don't know when Walt died. Did you ever meet Walt Disney?
Oh, God, I don't think so. I can't say. Yeah, he was already gone by the time I had done. It was a re-release of Snow White, but that was probably in the 80s or so. God, when did Walt pass?
No idea. I never met him either.
I love the whole conspiracy theory that Disney created the movie Frozen just so that when you Google Disney Frozen, that populates the search results instead of just cryonically kept
hilarious. That is really funny.
He wasn't frozen. He was just loaded with autism. Look at his love of trains and the storytelling. And well, I'm going to tell you the story, but before that, let me back up to the. And then well, it really begins with here. He's autistic. He's got so much tism. I love him, but the man had so many trains. He had little trains, big trains, monorails. Dude was totally focused.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there is a lot of trains. I hadn't really thought about that. There's a ton of trains. But speaking of trains, maybe it was a train. Was there a commercial for a train or something, some toy where Corey Feldman was the face of and you were the hands of? Was that a train?
Yeah, like a Mattel plastic choo-choo train track thingy. And I was just a hand double for Corey.
I know you've worked on a bunch of projects with him. I assume you guys are friendly at least. How much fun was it to sing and dance on the Oscars?
Oh my God, such a trip. You know, not a single one of the actors and actresses that are in the Stars of Tomorrow number, none of us have won an Oscar. But Dempsey, I think, got an Emmy nod for Grey's Anatomy. So, you know, it's in good fun. They wanted people that were Nepo and could sing or dance or whatever. So I had a little bit of both. I was like, I'm not a Nepo baby. I'm a Nepo grandbaby, but let's do this. And was enthusiastic about dancing, not trained or anything, but I just kept showing up for rehearsals. We had about 2 weeks of rehearsals. And Kenny Ortega, later I ran into him and he barely remembered even doing it, let alone me. But it was a fun time. We had heck of an Oscars. It was the first year they'd opened up the broadcast of the Soviet bloc. So we're about to go on and they're like, this is 1 billion people watching live. Jack Nicholson hit on my date. It was a wonderful evening.
I love that so much. What a great story. Give me the audition story for Don't Tell Mom, The Babysitter's Dead.
I get the script and the call to audition for Brian, the clown dog boy.
Who ended up getting that role?
Josh Charles. beautifully played by Josh Charles.
His wife has been on my show.
Oh, awesome. See, the only people that can understand actors or other actors, the only people in the industry that can kind of tolerate, but it's also rule number one, never marry an actor because they're just too narcissistic. But if you're both okay with that, then.
She's not an actor, so it worked out.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. So back in the day, you used to have a composite headshot. You used to have different big headshots for, composite was for commercials, showing you when, like, here's me in a delivery outfit. Here's me playing basketball. Here's me, it's just a bunch of different character, tough guy and nerd. And then you would have your dramatic black and white shots. You'd have, headshots. You'd also have some silly, 3/4 shots for like trip book, some commercials or sitcom or something. And now they go, no, one shot. And you go, oh, are we going to do this or this? Or like, pick, but that's it. You're not going to present as anything but your brand. Are you the nerd? Are you the jock? Are you the tough guy? Well, I could be any of those. They're like, no, they don't do that anymore. I go, what do you mean? They don't allow character actors to be character actors anymore? They're like, exactly. So back then, you didn't want to do the same part too many times or you get typecast. He always plays the brother that's in love with the babysitter, that's kind of a nerd. And Brian, the clown dog boy, had checked all the boxes of Brad. It was the same reason that Anthony Rapp didn't do Patrick in Hiding Out. And subsequently, I got that, was because he said that the character of Patrick was too much like Daryl. And so I thought that the character of Brian was too much like Brad. But I really liked the Kenny character, and, well, you know the rest.
For a guy who was in a couple of movies with Babysitter in the title, how weird was it when you ran into your little brother's previous babysitter while at a strip club?
Yes, that was fantastic. I love it. She's like, don't tell anyone I'm here. I'm like, don't tell anyone I'm here. And like, I didn't know. I'm sure I had moved out by that time. I must have been, he's 11 years younger than me. So shit, I babysat him until, basically I moved out. I just thought that was absolutely hysterical.
That is hilarious. One of your other, or I guess your other babysitter movie, The Babysitter's Club, was that Vincent D'Onofrio? Am I remembering that correctly? Was Vinny D in that movie? Did he play Thor?
Yes, that was Vincent D'Onofrio. He was fresh off of doing Full Metal Jacket. The films released within, I think, a week of each other, and he lost the weight after Full Metal Jacket and was quite serious on set. He was a very method actor, and he's Thor, and he's very serious, and I tried to break him all day. And he kept, he was very intense, and so he kind of kept making Maya Bruton smile all the time or crack or break character, and so there's some nice intense shots of Maya as she's struggling with her hero being a total jerk in front of her. Yeah, love that. Shot in Chicago. Not in Lower Wacker, but just a kind of another garage somewhere else. We shot in Lower Wacker for the entrance to the garage. God, I think it was a one-day shoot? Yeah, one-day shoot with Vincent.
Oh, wow. I have heard that he is very intense on set.
Yeah, thankfully, there was no reason to be any more serious than just that. And so I finally broke him down. I'm like, tell me about working with Kubrick. What was it like working with Kubrick? Is it true you do a lot of takes? What was it like? You go, fine, I'll tell you. Just I'll give you a minute and then let me go back to focusing. And he did. I broke him down.
Those two movies, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead and The Babysitter's Club, you worked with two of the biggest sex symbols of the era in Christina Applegate and Elizabeth Shue. I think I know the answer, but which one of them was more fun to work with?
Oh, with Christina, it was more like, I guess I'm patting myself on the back too much, but it's like two master carpenters that have never done a screwless joint. And like, you're going to do the left arm, I'm going to do the right arm, and we'll go ahead and make your piece. And they fit perfectly. And you're like, damn, that was easy. So I wouldn't say I even worked with Christina. She was already a dear friend. I think we saw eye to eye on the comedy. It was so easy because both of our instincts for the scene, everything worked. It always worked. We never had table reads. We never had rehearsals for Don't Tell Mom Babysitter Dead. Adventures in Babysitting was a process. The original script was different. We started rehearsals to an updated script and then rewrote it during rehearsals. And then continued to kind of adapt as we went along. We had the writer along with us. He was in Adventures of Babysitting as one of the frat guys. And so that was if we got caught on a plot point or a thing like, why are we doing this again? We had David Simpkins there to kind of bail us out. With Elizabeth, it was all of us finding, we go, how are we going to make this work? How are we really going to pull off a blues bar scene where we have to sing? Like, that's absurd. The audience is going to laugh. They're going to absolutely think it's ridiculous. And no. Here's how we'll do it. How ridiculous the knife fight, the whole end of the movie, the parents' party and the hanging off the building and all that stuff. Any of that stuff with the hook, the guy with the hook and the tow driver, somehow, and I think it's Chris Columbus, he just took it seriously. He took it seriously in the lighting and the score. The great kind of filmic score, almost like cartoons, like following along with the movements. It just was a full commitment to make a kid's version of Raiders of the Lost Ark, basically it was a kid's version of After Hours with Griffin Dunn. So I say Elizabeth because we found it together, created moments that weren't there or weren't in the script, or just really took something that might have been in the script and made what you saw on screen. There was less talking about it. It was more in the getting it and doing it over and over again. By the end of the rehearsals, we had staged the movie as a play. We could get up and do it for you in 97 minutes and do the whole movie. Just back to scene, back to back to back to back, kind of. And we needed to do that to, like, how breathless are these kids? They've been chased for only over a couple of hours, and all this has gone down, so they'd be pretty breathless. Big focus on keeping the urgency and the pacing up. And that's hard when you're spread over a 3-month shoot.
Sure, that makes sense.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Warning. Not listening to Fascination Street podcast may cause unexpected side effects. Side effects may include sudden fits of boredom, irrational curiosity about everything you missed, the inability to name your favorite podcast interview, spontaneous ignorance of obscure celebrity stories, talking to coworkers about nothing because you didn't hear the latest episode. Other symptoms may include excessive use of the phrase, "Wait, what happened?" Chronic seriousness with no trace of laughter or delight, unexplainable urge to scroll aimlessly instead of being entertained. In rare cases, not listening may lead to wandering aimlessly through podcast apps, overexposure to true crime reruns, and thinking you're cooler than you actually are. If you find yourself experiencing any of these symptoms, stop what you're doing immediately and download Fascination Street Podcast. Ask your podcaster if Fascination Street Podcast is right for you. Spoiler alert, it is.
Let's get back into it.
You were also in the movie Toy Soldiers. Tell me how the United States military changed the ending of that movie, and how did it benefit the producers to take those suggestions?
There are over 300 films that have received material support from the Department of Defense. They're on the DoD website. They list these films. Toy Soldiers got on the list as Mark Berg, the president of Island Pictures. He also used to be the president of Island Records, but he was producing Toy Soldiers for TriStar Pictures. Because I want some of that government money. So he shaved his hair into a high and tight, took the script into the Pentagon, and they said, "We have notes." And he goes, "Oh." And they go, "Yes, we want to address the invasion at the end, the rescue of the hostages." And he said, "Oh, you want to change it how you really invade the school and rescue the hostages?" And they said, "No, we want to change it to how we want people to think we would invade the school and rescue the hostages." So that is a little bit of, I don't want to call it propaganda. It doesn't look exciting on film when you have, like, signal interference and then, like, power taken out, and then you just cave in tons of dirt on their structure with a bulldozer at 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't look great on film. What looks great is fireballs and helicopters and people jumping out of them. And they're like, with a school full of kids, we would not have rappelled out of a helicopter and kicked open doors and thrown in tear gas and that, preach, bang, clear. They go, that's exactly how they really wouldn't do it, but it looks the best on film. It was planned for the kinetic option. It's a plan, but the government makes a lot of plans. Gentlemen, we're worried about the bunker gap.
That makes sense. And so they got a bunch of equipment.
We did. We got Blackhawks, Apaches, Bell spotter helicopters, or basically news choppers or camera choppers. We got Humvees, and we got about 20 troops, pilots, drivers, general troop guys. And then we would flesh those out with local National Guard and really anyone who has the kind of physique for the military. And there's a couple of guys that do some over-enthusiastic, like, dives. Like, there's no need for you to dive there, dude. But it looks kind of cool. Or it looks silly. I mean, it's dress up. It's
sure
playing cops and robbers, but with a healthy, healthy budget.
Okay, I need to know the story behind why and for what occasion you had the opportunity to write for John Bobbitt. What?
So my mother was a writer, and I also wrote with her. We'd write spec scripts or material for comics. and she got approached to train and write and put up John Wayne Bobbitt. So she took the job, brought me in on it, and we called it the Sleeping on Your Stomach tour. I immediately started with, "Why are we here?" Because he wouldn't listen to his wife. We would just start in on pecking away, ha ha ha, feed the ducks, get it? Like, we just started writing his act. And we go, like, really, are you okay with this stuff? And honestly, a lot of it was kind of going over his head. We're just really quick and savage. Because he gave us the green light. He goes, green light. And we go, you're going to be up there ridiculing yourself. And that's the best comedy, too, if someone can be kind of self-effacing. And so, yeah, I wish I remembered more of the act.
So this was a stand-up comedy tour that he did?
John Wayne Bobbitt, and I wound up hanging out with him. He spent the night at my house and, hit the town with John and Corey Haim. So there I am at a club watching Gabe on stage with me and John and Corey. And I was like, what has gone wrong with my life?
Damn, I miss Corey.
Yeah.
How was it that you helped Barack Obama become president?
See, as actors, you don't necessarily always make enough movie in the movies. So you get real jobs. First job I ever had, video store. Many years later, I wound up on the phones. It's anonymous. I started first working for AT&T, then moved on to other things. At one point, I'm fundraising. So I'm fundraising for like Greenpeace and the Nature Conservancy and all of these kind of causes, including the Heritage Foundation and political campaigns. And so I raised 20 grand on a cold call, stuck it on a MasterCard. So I got so good at phone sales, I wound up selling call centers.
Oh, wow.
And now that job's done. That's over. Oh my God, there's no way. I don't know how that they could make a call center viable, except for inbound or customer service.
Sure.
And even then, most of the work goes to prisons and AI now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you care to share about your sudden adult deafness?
Yeah, it shot out one day, like a Meniere's disease, loss of a lot of frequency, comes and goes with how much caffeine or whatever you're consuming. What hearing is left is pretty sensitive to sound. So, I mean, it's fine. If I focus, I can hear people's being. I've tried various hearing aids and things like that, and I usually raw dog it. I just carry around some earplugs for too loud of environments. Yeah, that really sucked. But got a good idea for a short. I just switched it to vision. What if you were losing your vision, but you knew how much time you had? And the more you used your eyes, the shorter time it would just run out. Or you could close your eyes and keep kind of rationing that out. So I did manage to write a great short from it. So that gave me a great idea. Every once in a while I go, that's right, I'm having trouble hearing what's going on there, but it doesn't really affect my day-to-day.
That's good. Is it just in one ear or both ears?
In one ear. The ringing, though, the tinnitus, the whatever you want to call it, I blame the gel inside of Stretch Armstrong's. I blame whatever they made Evel Knievel's tires out of, whatever toxic substance Lincoln Logs were baked from. I don't know. We played with a lot of chemicals as children, so it could be the BHT, the BHA, the red dye number 3. I don't know.
I love that so much. Did you ever have a bigger athletic accomplishment than when your 6th grade volleyball team beat the teachers for the first time in the school's history?
No, I never personally. Battle with the Network Stars. I think CBS won that year. That was cool. It was no fair. We had the Waltons. That's a lot of kids. And then we had Hulk. So he's a ringer.
Definitely a ringer. And I haven't seen it. I don't know how available it is, but you took part in Corey Haim's documentary, The Rape of Two Coreys. Is that right?
Did you say Corey Haim's documentary?
I don't think I did. Hopefully I didn't. Corey Feldman's.
It's okay, you did. But obviously the topic is what Feldman said that Haim had told him. And he didn't tell me. I didn't know. And even somebody else, I was watching some podcast, they're like, well, Coogan supports the thing. And I go, I was supporting just protect your kids on a set. Mutually using Feldman's platform. He's like, hey, I'm going to do this documentary on protecting kids. And I go, that's kind of my family's jam. I'd love to be a part of that. So I didn't know. And Haim lived with me. I did a movie with him, Life 101. He wound up moving in with me after. And we were too busy picking up chicks on Sunset Boulevard to talk about what happened to him as a kid. He never confessed any of that stuff to me.
Sure.
Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It doesn't mean he didn't tell Corey that.
Mm-hmm.
Just I was not privy to any of that. And that's not something a kid tells another kid.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting diddled by the priest. Hey, the teacher sees me after. That's why I got good grades. There's never going to be a situation where a kid's going to reach out to other kids when they're being hurt like that.
Sure. So your part of that documentary was really focused on kind of the taking care of the kids financially and, safety and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and also, I was raised on the sets, and those kinds of people that are predatory towards children, they're everywhere. They're not just in Hollywood. It's nice to have a hip mom, not an overly trusting mother.
Sure.
She didn't trust anybody. The only man she let me alone in a room with was Steven Spielberg. That's how much she didn't trust people. So, yeah, that's how, absolutely. Any opportunity platform. Also, Corey had been incredibly loyal. I've never in 50 years in Hollywood had somebody show up to every play, every, event.
Which Corey?
Feldman. Yeah, no, this is more recent. This is that, we lost him a long time ago. I've never had someone that was like, oh my God, Corey kept showing up for me. So I kept showing up for him, and that's how I wound up in My Truth.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, My Truth. The Rape of Two Corys, I think.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And I was there. I was at the premiere at the Directors Guild, and I was really impressed with the amount of kind of subversive Hollywood names that were there. Great people. I'm like, my God, that's quite a turnout of people that were just very interested. They were very curious to see it, and then it was held up on being shown as the servers had crashed, and they didn't know if they were going to show it or not. There's tape of that whole night. People in the audience yelling, "Show it! Show it! Show it!" And then it was released in a very unique way. It was never really publicly released. It had to be privately purchased. It was never really owned. You kind of tuned into a looping thingy. It was kind of like a Nickelodeon. Like for a nickel, you could peek in at it. They didn't want people to download it or keep it or redistribute it outside of that. And it could have just been liability or legal reasons. I'm thinking that's part of the reason why it's continued to be hard to find. I don't think there's any legal way to watch it now. And that might be to protect just from, Charlie Sheen sobered up. So he's like, all right, he says one more thing, I'm going to sue his ass. That's not a fight that I'm in. I have nothing to do with that.
Sure.
If you will.
Oh, yeah.
But I do stand on the boat of just protect kids in the industry.
Makes sense. But I was just curious because I saw that come up in my research, and I was like, well, get right on out of the city. So thank you for sharing as much as you could. I appreciate that.
Oh, sure.
Keith, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
I'm on KeithCooganOnline.com. That website again, KeithCooganOnline.com. And then that'll lead you to the merch stuff where you can get autographs and dishes. Dishes, you're done, man. All of the socials, it's just Keith Coogan. There's a fake somebody out there. So if you follow me and then somebody comments, hey, go into my DMs, that ain't me. People don't get much out of me on my DMs. You get a heart or a like, and I don't really talk you just can't. There's no way. Family had said you're going to have to learn to live privately in public, and that was before social media existed. So it's interesting. It is definitely a wild tiger to ride, but it's also a great tool. And I understand why movie studios have in-house PR to do TV shows, radio shows, and schedule public appearances. And so the internet's been great for that. It's just a direct connection with the fans.
On your Instagram and or your website, would that be where people could find places you're going to be, cons and the like?
Yep. And we've got, let's see, we are going out to Jersey. We're doing a show in Canada, our first Canada show. I say we as it's me and my wife, Pinky. She always goes with me to every single con because she's been to cons. So she knows there'll be, fans. She says, you're not ever going to be left alone at a convention. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome.
Stay away from my man.
I love that. Do you ever come out to San Antonio?
Oh, yeah, we've absolutely done some shows out there for sure. Oh, God, yeah. We're going to go back soon. I think we're working on one of the circuits that goes there. Yeah, we're trying to get back there.
All right, cool. Well, come on down, man. Buy you a coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe one that's not over caffeinated so it doesn't mess with your hearing.
Yeah, screw it.
Yeah, screw it. Oh, Keith Coogan. Dude, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic acting, directing, writing, producing schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for reaching out. And yeah, you take care.
I absolutely will do. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it, man. You have a great rest of your week.
Yeah.
All right, bye, buddy.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.
Opening music is from the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin. Closing music is from the song Kosh, written, performed, and provided with the blessings of Kosh Mojo himself. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. All episodes are available ad-free at patreon.com/Fascination Street Podcast. And don't forget to follow the show on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. And again, thanks for listening.